Hey friends, my name is Amy Rebecca. Welcome back to my channel. That mug is very hot. Today we are doing another tea time tangent, which if you are new or if you haven't seen one of these before, is basically where we all grab the hot beverage of our choice and we sit down and have a chat. It's completely unscripted. It's, you know, not highly edited. It's more like off the cuff, me sitting down and having a chat with you like you would have coffee with a friend, because we're friends and we're having a chat. Generally, these videos are about kind of more in-depth topics. Like in the past, we've talked about mental health, we've talked about disordered eating, we've talked about like the real gritty side of life, the reality behind the Instagram filter. And today is going to be no different. I am drinking, not that anyone asked, but I am drinking a green tea with caramel, I think. Salted caramel. And I'm going to take this tea bag out though, because that is looking pretty dark. I just almost knocked my camera over on the way back from the bin, so that's great. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit of a catch up. A little bit of a look back at the last couple months of my This Time Next Year challenge that I'm doing, and also just my thoughts on coming out of a really dark place and kind of like coming back to yourself. You know, like when you've gone through the worst of it and then you feel like, oh, I'm myself again. The world suddenly doesn't look so dark and dreary, and kind of what that transition has entailed, at least for me, and maybe you guys can relate to this, and where to go from there. Also, how cute is my mug? I made it with my Cricut machine. I am enough just as I am. Yeah. Okay, where to start? So the first thing I guess I can tell you guys is that I feel like I am in a really good, solid place right now, and I feel the best that I have felt for a long time, like for way over a year, and I am content with where I am right now, and it feels awesome. So I told this story on a TikTok live. I did the one and only TikTok live that I've ever done. I want to do more of them, but you guys know being live just brings out the worst of my like neurotic nature. I just like go to pieces. I'm so anxious. I just freak out. It's very difficult for me. But I did do one TikTok live where I talked about suddenly realizing that I was okay. I know a lot of you won't have seen that, so let me tell this story again. A few months after my engagement fell apart and I thought my life was ruined and I was in a really dark place, I forced myself to get up every Wednesday and go to a dance class, because I knew that I needed to get up out of the house, I needed to be around people, and I needed to do something just for 45 minutes a week that made me happy and that gave my brain space to forget about how miserable I was. So I would go to this dance class and I absolutely loved it, and I loved the people there, and it just made me so happy to be doing something fun. And for those 45 minutes, yeah, I would still be kind of like have all this negative stuff going on in the background, but I was focused on learning the dance, I was focused on moving my body, and it was great. But true story, I would cry all the way to dance class, which was, it's like a 20-minute drive, and then I would cry all the way home. A little while ago, the day I posted that TikTok live, I was driving home from dancing and I was like jamming out to the radio, I was singing along, I was having a ball, and all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, I'm okay. Not only am I okay, but I'm happy. And it was a really weird moment, guys. It was really strange, because when you're in the thick of a depression, when you are at your lowest, when you just feel like you will never be okay again, and it just feels like happiness is done for you. And like, if you've ever felt that way, then you'll probably relate to this. Like, all you want and all you can think about is, when am I going to feel okay? When am I going to not be miserable? How long is it going to take before I wake up and I'm not crying as soon as I open my eyes? And that came and I didn't even notice. Like, I made the transition from miserable to happy, and it kind of just passed me by because it was such, you know, a gradual process, and there were so many small shifts that occurred to bring me to that point that I kind of was driving home from dancing, and suddenly I was like, wait, how long have I been this happy? How did I not realize this? And it feels good. And I don't think, I mean, happiness all the time is a great feeling, right? We all love to be happy. It feels good. But when you have gone so long without feeling any shred of happiness, and then you suddenly realize how happy you are, you just appreciate it so much more. And I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that. And yeah, just, oh, it feels good. So now I bet a lot of you are wondering, cool, good for you, Ames, really happy for you, but like, how did you get to that point? How did you pull yourself out of that pit of despair? And how did you get to this point where you're at right now? And it was a lot of things. First, and we all hate to hear this, but we have to because it's true, is time. You need time to heal from trauma. You need time to heal from heartache. You need time to heal from anything. I don't really subscribe to the idea of kind of like pulling yourself up by the bootstraps and getting on with life. But there is a fine line. Like, obviously, you need time to heal. You need to give yourself the space and the compassion to get through whatever it is that you're going through. But you also need to start to slowly implement things that will improve your perspective on life and to just make you feel better. And for me, it's a really fine line, because if you're not okay, that's okay. You don't need to put on a brave face. You don't need to force yourself to be okay. On the other hand, if you stay over here for too long and you get too comfortable with the feeling of not being okay, then that can also be a really slippery slope. So it's about finding balance between not forcing yourself to feel better, but maybe forcing yourself to do small things that will help to shift your perspective and help you feel even the tiniest bit better. Like, for me, that first thing, going out dancing, that was really hard for me to do, but it did help. And then as time went on, I implemented new things and brought new experiences into my life, spent time with new people, and all of those things very slowly will help to just expand your world so that it's not all focused on the bad things that are happening. Does that make sense? So that kind of brings me to where I'm at with my This Time Next Year challenge. And if you guys don't know what that is, basically a few months ago, I set myself a challenge that I was going to change my life by this time next year, right? I set myself 365 days and I said, this is where I want to be at in a year's time. Like, these are the things that I want to have in my life. This is the kind of person I want to be. This is what I want to achieve. And every single day I have been doing one thing, sometimes more, but at least one thing to bring myself closer to those goals. That has been a big help for me, because just like I said, implementing small things into your routine, like bringing new things into your life, can help shift your perspective, can help get you out of a funk. Like, that's definitely what this challenge has done for me, because having the challenge element, you all know I love a challenge. I loved a tick box exercise, and it's helping to keep me accountable, and it's helping me to keep looking forward to what I'm working towards, as opposed to looking back on like, ugh, so many crappy things have happened, or opposed to me looking at like what might have been, like, oh, this isn't where I wanted to be in my life. Like, no, we're not thinking about any of those things that are out of our control. We are thinking to the future. We are thinking about the things we are doing each day to make us happy, to make us feel fulfilled, to make us feel purposeful, that will bring us closer to that. And I don't know why I suddenly started talking in like plural, as if I'm the queen. We are looking forward to the future. I don't know why I did that, but so I think that challenge has been really helpful, and it has actually forced me to do some pretty wild things, like booking a last minute trip to Italy, trying out new gym classes, going out with new groups of people, going to places I've never been to before, just like really pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Okay, so all of this is good, all of this is positive. I've made this progress from feeling at my lowest to now feeling good again. What I will say, and again, maybe some of you can relate to this, maybe this will strike a chord with you as something that you've been through, maybe something you're going through right now. When you come out of a really dark place, or at least when I came out of a really dark place to now finding myself again, it's like coming out of a cave after many years in the darkness with no people. And I think COVID probably like just amplified that feeling. But I've come back to myself almost, and I'm looking around and I'm like, huh, now what? I still haven't settled on the new career path that I want to go down. I still haven't settled on where I want to live. There have been so many things that got thrown up in the air when my relationship ended that I've kind of just been suspended up in space because of the pandemic and because of my mental health. And now I'm looking up at all those things and I'm like, I need to make a choice about those now. So that's kind of how I feel right now. I feel like I'm kind of at a crossroads. I've pulled myself out of the pit of despair. I am back. I am ready to live my best life. But like, what is it? But you know what? I am happy and I'm healthy and I'm grateful for that, and everything else will fall into place with time. I'm not stressing myself out about that because, Lord, it is just amazing to wake up every day and feel good. If you can do that, if you can wake up every day and feel happy and content and grateful, then you're golden. That is amazing. So let's wrap up this video here. My tea is almost done. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I always feel kind of weird about these videos because they are so all over the place, and I always feel the need to apologize, like, sorry I just sat and ranted at you for 20 minutes. But you guys always seem to enjoy them, so I hope you enjoyed this one too. I truly have pins and needles in my feet now from sitting cross-legged for this entire time. So let's actually wrap this video up. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you guys soon. Remember, you are enough just as you are, and I love you so much. Bye!